What I do plan to talk to you about is market trends and a nascent emerging technology that I believe is under the radar, but nevertheless is real and it's happening right now. Have you ever noticed that things seem to happen in threes? Good things, bad things, other things. It's been observed that the evolution and progress of things also happens in threes. And it's been observed by people far smarter than I am about this. Let me walk you through a couple of proof points here. So a futurist, Alvin Toffler, published a book in 1980 called The Third Wave. And what Toffler found was that technology waves are the things that progressed societal transition. The first wave was the agricultural revolution, the second wave, the industrial revolution, and the third wave being the information revolution. 35 years later, Steve Case, the co-founder of AOL, published a book also called The Third Wave. And Steve Case talked about how technology waves in threes evolved the internet. The first wave of the internet was the infrastructure to essentially get people online. The second wave was the services and applications built on top of the internet. If you logged into your LinkedIn account today or updated a contact in Salesforce, that's the second wave, software as a service. And for Case, the third wave of the internet is the Internet of Things and the Internet of Everything, right? It's the connecting of virtually everyone and everything in your home. If you've got a smartwatch, if you've got a refrigerator that's connected, that's what we're talking about, the Internet of Things and the Internet of Everything. So the thing that I take away from this is to look for the pattern of threes. And of course, when it comes to waves, to try to catch the wave at the right time. Now, I believe that there is a third wave forming for connectivity in the built world. And what I mean by the built world is buildings, campuses, plants where things are manufactured, yards and distribution centers that transport goods and services. Let me break down the first and second wave, which you're probably familiar with. So the first wave was really our wired world, the tethered world. This is the fiber and copper inside plant, outside plant. This is the networks that essentially are the backbone of buildings, plants, and other things. In the second wave, we went wireless. So interesting thing, Wi-Fi has turned 26 years old this year, and actually cellular has turned 50 years old, where the first commercial cellular call was made 50 years ago. So I'm here to tell you that the third wave that's forming is called private wireless networks. And you may have heard them before as private LTE, private 5G, or even CBRS. But let's get a couple working definitions here for private wireless networks. In private wireless networks, what's interesting are they use cellular spectrum for data connectivity. And typically they're using a frequency, a tranche of spectrum called CBRS, which was commercialized by the FCC about 3 years ago. What's interesting is that you don't have to be a carrier in order to gain access to the cellular spectrum to build these networks. They're also hallmark, I should say, of cellular is performance, reliability, and security. These networks boast significant performance advantages over Wi-Fi, and yet come at an economic cost that's very much in line and comfortable with Wi-Fi networks. Fundamentally and architecturally, these are familiar networks. Even though they are cellular and even though they are nuanced, they essentially are comprised of the same architecture or familiar as a Wi-Fi or internet connection, right? There's the core network, there's the radio network, and then the devices that connect to it. So very familiar, although somewhat nuanced. And similarly, even though these are cellular, these are networks that have simplicity. They're able to be deployed by virtually anybody, and they're relatively quick to do. Here's the most important thing that I want to call out to you, is in the first and second waves of connectivity, the network belonged to the ISPs and the carriers. In the third wave, the network belongs to the enterprise or the business. And this is going to be really interesting because we're really finding that the enterprise wants to control their wireless destiny. And that's what's really appealing about this. Now that we've talked about and said, hey, here's an opportunity in the marketplace, and a little bit of a definition for what it is and how it's different from some of the other waves of connectivity, let me lean in a little bit and break down, why should you care about this? Why is this interesting? So first of all, this is a big market opportunity. In the 3 years since it's been commercialized, it's grown significantly, and the research group Del Oro has pegged this as a $2 billion market by 2025. In comparison, Wi-Fi, 26 years old, is a $3.8 billion market. So this is growing very nicely. It's a big marketplace. The second is Gartner. Gartner released its top 10 wireless tech, or top 10 tech trends this year, and wireless features prominently. And they found two things that I find very interesting. First of all, is that enterprises, businesses are beginning to deploy a toolkit approach. 60%, in fact, of enterprises by 2025 plan to deploy multiple wireless technologies. So when we're talking about Wi-Fi, we're talking about 5G, we're talking about Bluetooth, and oh yes, private wireless networks. But here's the other aspect that I find interesting, is that wireless networks, connectivity, is ascending the value chain. And what I mean by that is that businesses report that they're finding greater value far beyond just connectivity. They're finding that wireless networks are able to unlock analytics, which achieve greater operational efficiency. So it's not just a technology thing, it's actually a business thing at this point. There are myriad use cases for private wireless networks. That's because enterprises are really looking for a better way to connect things. And there are essentially myriad use cases for that. Some of my favorite are, and again, think of any problems where you've got mission critical services and applications that need to be enabled. Some of my favorite are just device enablement, looking for better performance, reliability, and security. Another is remote security cameras. Often areas where there's not fiber, you're looking for a better way in order to connect these things that require bandwidth. Private wireless networks do a really great job of that. The homework gap and digital divide. Again, looking for an economical yet performance-oriented network, and private wireless networks lend themselves very well to that. A couple others, robots in plants and UGVs in logistical centers. The low latency that's inherent of these private wireless networks is very attractive, and the ability to hand off these things because they're moving throughout a facility is superior compared to Wi-Fi. A couple others really quickly, point of sales. If we're in a stadium, for instance, often point of sale transactions are batch processed at the end of the event or something like that. We've worked with golf courses at events that have deployed private wireless networks to support point of sale. That can be done very securely and highly efficiently and in real time. And then lastly, the Internet of Things, the tens and thousands of sensors and controllers that need to be deployed. Private wireless is a way to effectively do that at scale. At the same time, a technology and solution that can be solve for multiple types of services and applications, as opposed to some of the technologies that tend to be multi or single purpose, single technology. There's no concern about being able to connect devices to private wireless networks. The ecosystem and device ecosystem is evolving very rapidly. If you've purchased a smartphone or a tablet or a laptop over the last few years, these are natively able to connect because they have the radios to be able to connect with private wireless networks. But what about all those legacy services and applications and devices? Those too can be connected very easily and readily to a private wireless network through adapters, dongles, and gateways. And then lastly, there's a strong desire, I mentioned it earlier, for the enterprise to be able to control its wireless destiny. They've really not been able to do that at this point, and that's something that's very important. It's a big investment that they're making, and they're tying technology to business use cases. Let me give you a couple of examples of organizations that are deploying this because they do want to control their wireless destiny. They believe that they've found a better way. The host city for this event, Las Vegas, has deployed a private wireless network to support its Smart City initiative. Duke University and the University of Notre Dame have deployed a private wireless network to support students, faculty, staff, and even provide connectivity for the surrounding communities for myriad services and applications. Some really interesting stuff that they're doing. DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, has deployed a private wireless network for very mission critical services. A prominent rail yard has deployed private wireless. The NFL has deployed private wireless networks in their stadiums. So let me get to the part that you really care about. What's in it for you? Why should you care about private wireless networks? Why should you jump in and get involved in this third wave of network connectivity? Let me give you a couple reasons. First of all, how about being in the driver's seat? Private wireless networks are not going to be sold by ISPs and carriers. They're going to be sold by you. We're talking about agents, MSPs, VARs, systems integrators, consultants. You're in the driver's seat in this third wave. How about being a trusted advisor? A McKinsey report showed that buyers don't want to talk to salespeople. They want to talk to trusted advisors. This is a service that chances are your customers have not heard. You're bringing them a great solution to their problems. This puts you in the position of being a trusted advisor, which is what they want. How about first mover advantage? If your customers haven't heard it, if you've not heard about private wireless networks, there's a good likelihood that your competitors haven't heard about private wireless networks. How about getting first mover advantage? How about a receptive buyer market? You've got a market that, if I look at the three golden classic characteristics of a market, one in which there's urgency, pervasiveness, and a willingness to pay. You've got a market that has pain. They've got problems and things that they need to solve for. You have many customers out there that are in the same boat trying to do this, and they're willing to make the investment to do this. How about not having to work that hard in order to win these deals? Now, I'm not purporting to say that sales is easy, but here's the thing. You're already talking to your buyers. The buyers and customers that you're talking to about deploying security cameras or robots or other services in your kit, these are viable prospects for private wireless networks. How about lucrative incremental revenue? There are multiple plays across hardware and services and recurring revenue. And then finally, how about the opportunity to build funnel? Because these networks are going to require future upgrades. That's already built into your opportunity. If there's one thing that I could share with you, it is this. The third wave of connectivity is forming, and it's called private wireless networks.
To learn more about private wireless networks, or about Celocity Solutions, or our Channel Partner Program, please be sure to visit our website.